And now it's time for the receipts. And I'm telling you, I have a receipt. I got a receipt. I got a receipt. I got a receipt. And I think that the way God set this up, it's only God. It could be only God. There's no way that it's anything but God. For it to be Resurrection Sunday, for it to be the day that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. Thinking back to how by his stripes we're healed. I want to tell you, and I'm going to make this quick because it is what it is. So many of you know, I went off to college coming out of high school. I went to Southwestern College in Winfield, Kansas, and I'm originally from Opelika, Alabama, but I grew up in Columbus, Georgia. And one thing that my parents always instilled in me, I'm an 80s baby, so I'm from that generation. One thing they instilled in me was go to college. Go to college, go to college, go to college. Why did they say that? Because they didn't have an opportunity to go to college. So they wanted to make sure that we had that opportunity. They didn't know much about college. College was like some, far, far away land. So they said, go to college. Some things that they didn't really prepare us for was what happened after college. How could they prepare us for something that they don't know? I mean, it is what it is. So I want to tell you that I went off to college. I did what was so-called the right thing to do. I played 2 sports. I got scholarships. But if you know anything about college, private college, those scholarships aren't enough at times. Unless you're this major Division I athlete, you're paying some money for college. So I went out and I did like every other student. I lived off of financial aid. I was in the line at the financial aid office waiting to, see if I can get my check boosted. $2,000 or $3,000 is what we had to live off. We lived off that money. Now I went on and it took me 5 years to graduate. Didn't fail any classes. I was just on a 5-year track. So I did my sports and I got my education. And, first thing they said is, well, you're going to need a master's degree. Because as a young black man, at this point, everybody's getting degrees. So what's going to separate you is that you're going to have to go on and you're going to get a master's degree. Now, the thing about master's degrees, those credit hours cost a whole lot more than those undergraduate credit hours. So you're talking about going from $200 or $300 an hour, taking 15 hours a semester, 30 a year, going on to $400 or $500 to $600 per hour. But I needed to do it because I was told to get an education. So after that, I got a job and I realized that there were people on my job doing a whole lot better than me and making more money than me, but I was doing more work. So I had to go on and get another degree. It's kind of like that Kanye West thing, like, yeah, I followed the plan. And then I was done. I found myself in something they call student loan debt. And if you know anything about it, it's a lot of money. It's almost like you're a slave to your degrees now. Because now I'm in a field that the only thing I could do is what's on that paper. And yeah, I got a good job. Yeah, I'm blessed. Yeah, I'm able to provide for my family. But in the back of my head, there's this thing called student loan debt. There's this animal, this monkey that's on your back. No matter how well you do, it's still there. And I end up with a lot of money. I end up owing a lot of money. And it was just, it puts you in depression at times because you never really see the end of it. You never really see where it's taking you. And it takes you places that you don't really want to be. It messes up your credit. So now that when you go to apply to get a home loan, you're paying more than another individual because you went up to school. You did the right thing. So now your credit, your interest rate's way higher. When you go to get a vehicle, it's way higher. No matter how you look at it, in your attempts to get ahead, you're behind. But I want to tell you that I got a letter the other day, and my letter said, thank you for your service. Your loans have been forgiven. $187,018.27 forgiven. I had to read it twice. It was sitting on my email and I said, y'all playing with me right now, like what's going on? But it said forgiven. It said thank you for your commitment. And I've been preaching about commitment all 2023. And then God turns around and says, thank you for your commitment. It might not be special to y'all, but $187,000, I never thought I would see the day that I did not have student loan debt. I always said I wanted to be financially free, but I knew at the back of my head, if one of them kids don't go pro, if Jerica doesn't turn to some famous track athlete, if AJ doesn't get drafted in the league, then I wasn't going to be able to. This was just something that I set in my mind, I'm going to die with this debt. I'm never, and it turned to a point that I really got salty towards education, but God said, I got you. And I want to tell you that on my offering envelope at Faith Walk Ministries, every day, every time I give, I put financial freedom. I put financial freedom. I put loan cancellation. I put debt free. And today I stand before you telling you that all of my loans were canceled out. They were forgiven. And it's a moment that I thought I'd never see. I preached one of my first sermons was 3 strikes against black men. It was child support, incarceration, and student loan debt. And at that moment I had 2 strikes against me, the child support and the student loan debt. And I want to let you know that the student loan debt has been forgiven, it's been wiped away, and the child support's about to end. I feel like I got a new leaf on life. I feel like my life is now beginning, and I thank God for this receipt. I thank God for financial freedom. I thank God for loan cancellation. I thank God for debt cancellation. I thank God for everything He's doing. I know I have been risen. I know that I'm not perfect. And He did this for me. He did this for me. And if He's doing it for me, I know He'll do it for us. I know my wife is next. I know her testimony's coming. It won't be long before she gets that email and says, your loans has been forgiven. But I'm telling you, whatever it is that you're tied to, I was tied to student loan debt. I was tied to that. And I really was at a point that I felt like I had been had, that I did what I was supposed to do. And I was still being held back by debt. But on this day, on this Resurrection Sunday, I will let you know that I no longer have student loan debt. Thank God, thank the Master. God bless you. And I can't wait to hear your testimony. God is good.